All right, Nick, let's look at the college football landscape for a minute. Everyone's talking about all of the teams at the top. There's a lot of notoriety going around. Georgia, will they three-peat? Michigan, are they for real now? Is this the year that they can go all the way? Texas, is Texas back? Nobody knows. That's a good question we can ask ourselves. We're looking at Ohio State, big win over Notre Dame. Could this be a team that goes to the college football playoff? Florida State, they look really, really good. But we all are overlooking one team in particular who I think is really, really good. And we have a great, great article on them today. Penn State, Nick, is flying under the radar, and people just aren't giving them enough credit for being the top number 6 ranked team in all of college football right now. I think it's a team that people really need to look out for.
Yeah, the level of disrespect Penn State is getting right now is absolutely ridiculous. And I think it's one of those things that Nittany Lions fans may be used to. I think it's sort of seen as a second-tier Big Ten program at times by the big media folks, even though that's far from the case. But that, of course, leads me directly into my question today for you Penn State fans to answer in the comment section below. Look, obviously, you demolished Iowa. I mean, that was an absolutely bloodbath. But you got to move on. You got Northwestern coming up. Not a great team going through a lot of things, but you can't look past them too much. Now's your chance in the comment section below to give us your prediction of Penn State versus Northwestern. What you think the final score will be. Make sure you put it in the comment section below. But all right, Miles, I'll throw it back over to you now. What do you have out of Penn State?
Yeah, Nick, we have a great little write-up from SB Nation just highlighting how disrespected Penn State has been, the field goal pushing, the goalpost pushing that has been going on. Just, they'll be good when they do this. They'll be good when they do this. We'll get into that. We'll kind of talk about it on the other side because I do think Penn State needs a lot more respect than they are getting. But let's get into it. Like I said, this is from SB Nation. It says Penn State has stayed stagnant in the polls, finally bumping up to number 6 in the AP poll today. It's not that the Lions were completely overlooked. After all, they started the year solidly in the top 10. I listened to a lot of college football podcasts and I read a lot of coverage. And the common refrain is we'll learn more about Penn State once. And it goes on. First, it was once we see Drew Aller play, the sophomore QB answered that call, 300 plus yards and 3 scores versus West Virginia. Then it was once Penn State plays a conference game on the road. They answered that quite comfortably with a win. They were leading 30-7 before they sat their starters. Then again is we'll know about Penn State once they go up against a tough defense that could confuse Aller. They did that, and now it was Aller who showed that he was the guy. He looked calm, cool, collected. Penn State's defense was confusing, and he threw for 4 scores and a dominant win. I just think Penn State has been doing everything to prove that they are a top-tier program, and they aren't getting the level of respect a team that has been dominant through their first 4 weeks of play should get, Nick. This is a team that is on par. They have a great defense. They haven't let up more than 15 points in a game this season. They've been putting up 30-plus in most of their games. I think this is a team that looks really, really good and should be on everybody's radar for a college football playoff contender. But, Nick, what do you think about Penn State, the disrespect they're getting, and just how good exactly is Penn State?
So honestly, right now, I think they're the second best team in the Big Ten. It's really close right behind Ohio State. And I only give Ohio State the nod because they did go into South Bend and beat Notre Dame before this week. And I would have said Penn State is better even than Michigan. People forget, right? Obviously, Penn State fans, you guys know, but the last 2-3 years or so, the issues with Penn State is they haven't had a traditional, elite level passing quarterback. I'm not trying to diss Clifford. I thought Sean Clifford was a great guy, great runner, great leader, a lot of those things, but he wasn't that next level passer that you need to win at higher level college football these days. We talk about it on this channel all the time. High level college football has become essentially the NFL game. And the way you have to win in the NFL is you have to have a big time quarterback. Then you have to surround him with playmakers. Then you have to get pass rushers to go after that guy and so on. Penn State has had everything else around it, but they haven't had that elite passing quarterback, and they've got it now. With that in mind, we should be hearing all over the national media. It's like Penn State, listen, they may be the team to beat. They may be the best team in the country, but no one is talking about it. The emergence of the sophomore, it was the one thing. It was the one question mark. If Penn State can get an elite level passer, there's no reason they're not a national title contender. It seems like they've got that, and yet no one is talking about them. It's such a bizarre season right now. The fact that you literally have, I think, the third best team in the country, Georgia, Ohio State, Penn State right now. I think FSU is a little bit of a fraud. There's some other, they've played a lot of close games. I think they'll eventually lose a couple games before it's all said and done. I think Texas, I think they're kind of running on a little steam too. They haven't looked good the past few weeks. We'll see how they do. But right now, the third best team in the country, my opinion, is Penn State. But right now, it's almost like they're not even in the top 25, and they have all the opportunities in front of them. If you look at their schedule, outside of going to Ohio State, they get Michigan at home. I think they beat Michigan at home. Going to Columbus is going to be tough, but one Big Ten loss isn't going to kill you, especially if you beat Michigan at home. And I think Michigan will handle Ohio State again. If that happens, this team is going to the Big Ten championship game. They'll win the Big Ten championship game, and they'll be headed to the college football playoff. It is wide open for Penn State, especially now that they've addressed the quarterback position with a more elite passer. Again, I'm not saying anything bad about Clifford. I was actually a fan of Sean Clifford when he played. I just think he has deficiencies in the passing game. They don't have that problem anymore. And I think Penn State right now, they're ranked number 6, so credit to the AP and all the coaches polls and all that for getting that right. But in terms of the national media recognition, they're not giving the respect they deserve. And that reality is they are a national college football playoff contending kind of football team right now.
Yeah, Nick, and we see they've put up 30 plus in every single game, put up 63 against Delaware. But I really think the star of the show here, going up against number 24, Iowa. The defense shine. Izzard came back. They shut out Iowa. This is a top-tier defense. I think they're very, very good. They were able to put up 31 on defense in Iowa. People were saying was good. It could confuse the quarterback here. Wasn't the case. Did really, really well here. But I think this is a complete football team here, especially with the reemergence of Izzard coming back. He is going to make an immediate impact on this defense. They have another couple tune-up games here to get everything right. I'm excited to see what happens when in 3 weeks from now, they go down to Ohio State. Let's see what they can get done there. I think it'll be a very interesting game because this is a Penn State team that I think people are going to sleep on, and we all know what happens when you sleep on really good teams. You come out and you get shot.